after evaluating the film from the Florida game, very proud of our team. First and foremost, and I think the biggest thing of all, was just how we competed in the football game. You relentlessly, whether things were good, whether they were bad, you were in a good place, you're in a bad place. Guys just kept playing the next play, didn't pay attention to the scoreboard, tried to win their space, and if they didn't, they went right back at the next play. And we're able to make enough plays to do the things we had to do. It's a very good Florida team, very well coached, very good football team, outstanding football game, back and forth. Special teams wise, I thought we were great. Our kickoff guy was great. They never got any returns off of it. Our punter was excellent. The one punt he had, he pinned him inside the 10-yard line with a great kick there. Our coverage is on there. Our punt return, they punted one time, so we didn't get a chance. They squibbed it, not shanked it, but it was a 36-yard punt, went off the side. We didn't get a chance there. Our kickoff return mainly deep. So from that standpoint, our field goal kicker was excellent. Seth was excellent making the kick at the end, but also the extra points and the field goal for the half. So we know our kicking situations there were good. So proud of that. Defensively, Florida moved the football. We had a big turnover in the game that we got called back, which was critical. Had a couple penalties there. Had a couple undisciplined penalties, one on special teams, two on defense. We need to get cleaned up. We'll make sure we get that cleaned up. Got to play the pass better, played the run pretty good for the most part in what we did. Got to keep playing those different schemes and what we got. We'll know why they happen and how to get that fixed. But then come up with a couple big stops in the second half there with that one, and then getting the turnover on the other time, which set us up. So, I was proud of the way they kept competing in the game, going back and forth. Offensively, moved the ball extremely well. Thought we had great balance running and throwing through the ball well early, hit our deep balls, hit play actions, be able to run the football in the second half even more so than we did, able to control the clock a little bit and get some physicality in the game. Our Kellen played well, Spiller played well, Chapman, all the receivers played well. Our tight ends and O-line played excellent. If you don't look at one group throughout that whole thing, if you really grade the film, player in, player out as a unit, our offensive line was excellent in the game. Pass protections, our tight ends, our receivers, everybody blocked. I thought they did a heck of a job. And then we played a good football game, and we needed every inch of it to come out. It was a very good team, and now it's time to put that one away. That one's over with. It's a very good win. Now we got to get ready to play a very good Mississippi State team on the road, which is always tough in this league. They start out defensively. They're number 2 in the league in defense, 285 yards a game. They then limited Kentucky to 157. Arkansas had 275. LSU had 425. I believe they're leading the league in sacks. They're right there at the top of it. Multiple stacks, multiple blitz packages, multiple looks, 3 down, 4 down, coming in different directions. Multiplicity in the back end, very good on defense. Offensively, broke an SEC record the first week. It's almost 700 yards passing or 650 against a good LSU team. So they can throw it all over the yard. Multiple people can catch the ball. Mike has always been a great offensive mind doing the things he does, especially their punter is averaging about 52 yards a punt. Kicker's doing a good job. They kick it out 11 out of 12. I think there's only been 1 return. So, this is a very good football team. We're going to have to go on the road. We're going to have to play a complete football game. And like I say, they'll be ready to play at home, and we have to get prepared to go play on the road. So we got our great challenge in front of us, and hopefully we'll understand why we had success and continue to prepare like we did the last few weeks. Thank you. Questions?
All right, let's start off with Brian Peroni from Gig'em 247.
Hey, Coach. I was just wanting to check on some availability of guys. Caleb Chapman, I guess, is he out for the year, and what's the prognosis?
Yeah, it looks like he had an injury. He'll probably be out the rest of the year.
All right. Eric Young, are you expecting him back this week?
No, it's a day-to-day basis. He's getting much better. We'll have to see daily.
All right. A couple more. Hezekiah Jones, will he be back?
Possibly not. It's a daily thing too. Very close.
All right, and I guess in Chapman's stead, who are you expecting to step up in that receiver spot?
We'll see. We have multiple ways of doing it, and multiple groups of people, and how we play. We'll decide that as the week goes on.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, your next question is from Owen Buchanan from TexAgs.com.
That Caleb's hurt, and when you consider some of the attrition and injuries y'all have had at that position, do you feel like you're a little bit snake bit there?
Nah, that's ball, man. Every year I've been in this game long enough. You're always snake bit. That's the way it always is. The next guy up, we had great opportunities for young guys to come up, and we've got a lot of guys that played. So we'll figure out what we're going to do and go forward.
Y'all, your offensive line had some issues in pass protection the last couple of years. I think about 70 sacks over the last 2 years, and doing a great job about that with that this year. What's the difference?
It's amazing what maturity is, isn't it? I mean, you got maturity. You got guys know they played games. They recognize blitzes. They recognize stunts. They know how to pass them off. I mean, yes, guys can't always do it as freshmen. And plus, your quarterback's more experienced. So he can read, get the ball out quicker. I mean, sacks don't always. Everybody says, well, the offensive line on a sack. Well, no. Maybe receiver runs the wrong route. Maybe he went too deep. Maybe he didn't get open in one-on-one coverage and made the quarterback hold it. Maybe the quarterback held it, or maybe the quarterback made a bad read. I mean, the obvious to everybody is not the obvious. Sacks don't always go on the offensive line. And sometimes it can be on receivers for all getting covered and the quarterback has nowhere to go with it. Or the quarterback makes the wrong read. Or vice versa. Sometimes, quarterbacks get credit and the other guy should get stuff. I mean, it's not as obvious as it seems, but the big thing is I think their maturity, their number of starts, the number of times they've played. And I just think being able to play some seniors that have been around the block, as they say, and have seen a lot of twists, stunts, games, and they know how to compete in games. And I think you get better with that. And that's one of the sad things about college football, that you don't always get to see that anymore with mature, experienced offensive lines, and because those guys, the real good ones, all come out too quick.
Can I ask one more, guys? Coach, it seems like all last week the national narrative was that you had to win that game in order to prove that there was some kind of that there was progress in your program. Did you feel that way? And if so, do you feel vindicated at all?
No.
You mind elaborating?
No, I mean, you asked me a question. I said, no, I don't feel like I did, and I didn't feel like I was vindicated. I mean, you got to play every week, like I said. And what goes, again, everybody looks at the obvious. There's other things that say signatures of where your program's going, how it's going, why it's going, what's going to be in the future. It's not always in that. Sometimes it is in wins and losses, sometimes it isn't. There's a lot of things. I've been in this game a long time and can see things coming. I love where we're going. I love where we're at. We have tons of work to do. We're nowhere close to where we need to be. But we're heading in the right direction. We got great young players. Our older guys are doing a good job, and we can play some good football. Now, we got to go do it again. Doesn't matter. We got to line up this week and go do it again. So, I mean, the obvious to some folks is not always the obvious to us once you're inside.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, let's move to Brent Swerman from the Houston Chronicle.
Let me go ahead and check off that offensive line question and vindication question and get to Coach, what is the key, and I've seen SEC defenses do it, I've seen them do it in bowl games and such, to slowing a Mike Leach offense?
I mean, you have to be talented. You have to be diverse. You have to, can you pressure the quarterback? Can you cover? Can you play man-to-man? Can you play? I mean, it's diversity. I mean, Mike has always thrown the football around. He's done a great job, and he's very sneaky with how he plays in the running game. He'll lull you asleep in those quick screens in the running game he'll have, and he can do it. I mean, so you're going to have to play disciplined, hard, tough football. We're going to have to tackle in space very well. We're going to have to, not miss tackles and give yards after catch. You're going to have to, contain guys, keep leverage on the football, and because they'll throw it. You look at their receivers, there's usually 8-9 guys a game that catch balls. And I was looking at the last stat in the Kentucky game. The great tailback, Hill, had 15 catches. He had 15 catches as a running back. So, I mean, the ball goes all over distribution. So everybody's going to have to do your job. You can't be weak in any points, and it's going to be a tremendous challenge for our defense.
You mentioned the unsportsmanlike conduct penalties, the personal fouls. It seemed like it was all on one side of the ball, or at least a defender on special teams too. How disappointing is that, and how much is
well, it was because you got to put the team in first. We had to start a drive on the 6 because of one after a score, because they got to squib it, and then we had to start on the 10 after we caught it in the end zone. We had to start, but no, luckily we scored touchdowns on both drives. We had a 94-yard drive and a 90-yard drive, and we got points on those. But at the same time, you can't do that. I mean, you can't do that because those possessions are so vital for the outcome of the game. And like I say, you got to put your ego beside. Whatever you feel, whatever you say, the team always got to come first. It can't be about me. And guys get caught up in the heat of the moment, and we'll discuss that. We'll fix it, and we'll move on. They don't do it on purpose, but at the same time, it's not acceptable, and it won't happen. They can't let it happen. And we'll address those issues.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's go to Tyler Shaw from KBTX.
Coach, I know weekly awards may not mean much on the surface, but when you look at Kellen Mond, the performance he had, breaking the all-time passing yards record and also getting recognized for Offensive Player of the Week, which it's been almost 2 years since the Aggies won that. What does Mond's performance and just him in general mean to this team?
Well, I mean, anytime your quarterback touches the ball every play, he needs to play well. And that's the responsibility that goes with it, and he's doing a very good job of that, and he's getting better and better. And that was huge. But also, like I said, in that game, our receivers were playing well, our running backs were playing well, our offensive line was outstanding. And it's amazing when the people around you play well, how your performance goes up. I mean, I keep saying that football is such a team game. One can't live without the other. It just doesn't work that way. And but I'm very proud of him, happy for him. And like I say, we've got a lot of ball left. We got 30% of the year done. That's it. So we got a lot of work to get done.
Let's go to Chip Howard from Sports Talk.
Jimbo, how do you explain all of the points and all of the offensive yards in this league since the season started?
I don't try. Just play the game like we do. Try to get better on offense. Try to get better on defense. And do what we got to do. Yeah, I mean, and then all of a sudden, then next year maybe nobody can score a point. I mean, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I ain't got time to worry. I got enough problems trying to worry about who we're placing, who we're moving in, who's banged up, who's not banged up, and switching guys around. But you know, it's a product of today's game. That's the kind of game we want today, it seems like, and that's kind of the way it's going right now.
So you don't think it's a situation where the offenses have passed up the defenses necessarily?
Well, whenever that happens, I always know this. The other side usually fixes it and passes you back up. I mean, that goes back, doesn't it go back and forth over time? Maybe it has. I don't know. I mean, you know, people say, well, they haven't practiced, you haven't tackled in space. Well, generally, when you don't play for a long period of time, defenses are usually ahead of the offense because of the timing and rhythm and the things in which you got to play with. But now, you know, in today's time, the way kids throw and catch the ball in the summers, maybe that helps. I don't know. I mean, it goes back and forth. But the old adage was defenses were usually ready before the offenses. You know, maybe the offenses are ahead. Now it's very tough. I mean, you're getting tremendous amounts of skilled people on the field on offense as much as you ever have in space. I mean, and that's what's happening to the game, and it makes you harder to get on the ground. And, you know, your quarterbacks are becoming more mobile for the most part, but at some time, you don't have to be mobile to be successful. And we got to stand in the pocket. And the one we played this weekend, Kyle Trask could run good, but, man, he stood in that pocket and threw balls and, you know, had great people around him making decisions. But there's just a tremendous amount of good, skilled people on the field right now, and they're always hard to get down one-on-one in the field.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's go to Travis Brown from the Bryan Eagle.
Hey, Coach. Just wondering, I know in the last couple of games, a lot of fair catches with on the kickoffs from your kickoff returners. What's kind of the philosophy with your kick returns right now? What are you teaching them?
Because people guys kick it higher than they've ever kicked it. Their guys are faster running down. And if you average 25 yards of kickoff return, you'll be in the top 10 in the country. If you look at the stats, if you're 25 yards of kickoff return, you'll be in the top 10 in the country. And if you look at guys returning them out, not very many kicks are coming outside of 25 if they're kicked back to the end zone and back to that level. And there's games in which we feel if we'll have an advantage, we will. We won't always do that. But at the same time, if there's a thing there, an advantage there, or something we see, we'll do it. But, you know, that puts you back there. But we'll pick and choose when our moments are, and we're not always going to do that. But at the same time, it can be very good based off their units, what we're doing, the game plan going into the game. And you also reduce penalties. And you also have a chance to reduce penalties if you look at that things on kickoff returns too. I mean, there's a lot of things that go into it. Not saying you have a penalty, but there's a lot of different things. Game by game, we'll make each decision.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's move to Robert Cessna from the Bryan Eagle.
Hey, Jimbo, you've only had one road game during these COVID times, but I wonder, was the atmosphere more conducive for the road team to have success? And what did your younger players take from that trip to Alabama?
I mean, if it was a normal road trip, I mean, as far as that goes, I mean, of course, I'm going to play Alabama, playing a very good team. And anytime you play in the road in this league, you play a very good team. So it'll be very similar every road game you have. So, I mean, but it wasn't that much different. I mean, as far as we usually travel on Thursday night, we went on Fridays from that regard. But I don't know, that'd be an interesting question from them. But, you know, you're going to have to play on the road to win in this league. So we need to do a little better than we did last week. Or 2 weeks ago, excuse me.
And a follow-up to the offensive line, if I could, have you at all changed the blocking schemes or trying to cut down on Mon holding the ball?
No.
You talked about the maturity, but is there anything else, schematics?
We're running now.
Okay, thanks.
All right, let's go to Gabe Buck from TexAgs.com.
Yeah, Jimbo, down there late with about a minute left in that 3rd and 8, you put it in the air and you trusted Chase Lane. What have you seen from Chase Lane, and what does that say about your confidence in him? And were you fully expecting the production going into this year that he's given you so far?
You know, I had really high hopes of him last year when bowl practice came and things like that. I could see him really starting to develop, and some of our young players really starting. Chap was coming into that group, all those guys. I was really high on all those guys and felt very confident. There's a lot. I mean, Cam Brown, Jalen Preston. I mean, all those guys. I mean, you see production coming in and out, and of course, Anias going back and forth, the different matchups you had. I mean, you see them coming, and yes, I did feel great confidence in him. Felt he could have a tremendous year, and you just wait till you don't ever know how they're going to react in the game and then see how it is. But they've done an excellent job, and they're getting better and better each week. We still got a lot of room to improve, but, you can see they have a chance to be really good players.
Let's go to Mike Lopez from KAGS.
Hey, Coach, how concerning is some of the secondary issues you guys have had? 9 passing touchdowns about the last 2 games with an air raid offense.
Well, it is, and a good thing. The bad thing about it is we played 2 really good teams in Florida and Alabama. You're playing guys who probably throw it as well as anybody around, and we're going to face another one this week. So, good thing we ought to have a lot of prep, a lot of have experience. So hopefully, guys can see the mistakes, correct the mistakes, because they've won against really good people the last few weeks. And what we're doing 3 weeks, all the games we played. So hopefully we'll continue to improve, and that's what you got to do. You got to look at why they're happening, try to put them in better position to be successful. You'll know them better as players, what they can and can't do, and hopefully by the matchups in which we have this week, we can create some better things to do better. It's going to be a challenge.
Let's go to Mark Passwaters at Rivals.
Coach, after the game, you were pretty clearly irritated with the officiating. After having a chance to see the film, have you first talked to Birmingham, and second, what are your thoughts about things?
No, I mean, listen, coaches and guys always disagree on things. There's calls they make, they do a good job. Some we don't agree on. That's just the way it is. I mean, and I just think there's critical plays, critical moments that we'll wait and get the results back. Now I haven't, and we go with it every week and move on. And that's the way it is in the game. I mean, people have different opinions on how things are done, and if they got a job to do, we got a job to do.
All right, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Justin Woodard at KAGS.
Coach, I know your O-line, you're praising them, but interested to see your thoughts and hear your thoughts on Isaiah Spiller. He's first right now in the SEC in yards after contact, and he's also first in forced missed tackles. What's he doing so well, Coach, that once the line blocks it the right way, he's making that one guy in the hole miss?
Well, he's running through guys. He's big, he's physical, he's strong, he's playing really good football, and he's getting better and better. And if you watch the film, and as good as he's playing, he still has a lot of room to improve. And I don't mean that as a disrespect to him. That's an encouraging thing, that you're getting production like you're getting or blocking, and he still has a lot of things he can continue to grow in little details of how he runs and the way he does things. And he's very open to that in coaching. That's the great thing. He's got even more upside than is there, and he'll continue to work hard, but he's doing a really, really good job.
And then just to follow up, just in general, Coach, when you run the ball as well as you did on Saturday, what does that do for you offensively as the play caller?
Well, I mean, it gives you diversity. It gives you options. It creates matchup issues on defense, and it allows them to, different packages you have. People can't always work on things even when they're preparing for you. They always know they got to spend time on the run, they got to spend time on this. I think the more diverse you can be and the more successful in all those areas, it gives you an advantage.
All right, let's move to Zach Taylor, and then we'll go to Sheehan.
Yeah, Jimbo, Dan Mullen specifically mentioned the crowd on Saturday as being a big factor. Has it been a bigger factor? Do you feel like it's been a bigger factor this year than maybe you had anticipated?
No, I mean, we were, 22% capacity. I can't wait till we get the other 78. I promise you that. I can't wait for the other 78 to get there, because when they get there, then it is. That's why I say it's the best environment in college football, and we have the passionate fans and the passionate people and the 12th man. Our fans are loyal. They love each other. They love A&M, and they're here to root hard, and however many's there, they'll make up for the others. But that's what happened, and I was very proud of our fans here at the game.
Well, and I also have a question with you going on the road as a livestock owner, your thoughts on cowbells?
Depends on where you're using them at. On the farm, they're good. No, they're good. They're unique to A&M. I mean, to Mississippi State, and that's good. I mean, everybody has their thing that I think that's one of the traditions and things that makes it great. I mean, that's great for Mississippi State.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, let's move to Sheehan from Dave Campbell's Texas Football, and then Chuck Carlton.
Hey, Coach, jumping off of the Isaiah Spiller questions a little bit. I mean, obviously he's only a true sophomore and was able to contribute as a true freshman. Why do you think he was able to grow that much and be able to contribute right away in the SEC? And what do you think he's kind of improved on the most heading from year 1 to year 2?
Well, I mean, I think he came in, he was mature, and one of the reasons he did so well as a freshman, he had to. He got thrown in the fire. He came in ready and was learning, and he was able to pick things up early. He's very intelligent. Now, I know everybody talks about the physical abilities, but a lot of these young guys, being in a system and being able to pick things up and how quick you can learn, and adjust to the game, he's done a great job of that, and he's worked very hard at the game, and we're playing well around him. And we're playing well around him, and he's playing well, and the whole thing is tying together on how we want to do it, and he's an excellent young man, an excellent player, and got a great future.
how do you prepare a young kid, especially, to be able to carry the ball 20, 25, 27 times in an SEC game?
The way you practice, the way you lift weights, the way your off-season training is, and you got to have also the body and the physical attributes to be able to do that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's go to Chuck Carlton from the Dallas Morning News, and then Tyler Shaw.
Jimbo, after the game, and again today, you talked about, building on what happened. And I was just curious, how difficult is it for a team that's had success to kind of build on it, live with success, deal with it? And what's your message to your players this week?
It's all part of maturing and remember why you had success last week. How'd you practice? How'd you sleep? How'd you prepare? How'd you watch film? Now, you can't cheat this game. You can't cheat it. Physical ability is not winning this game. It gives you an opportunity to be successful. It's how you prepare, how you think, how you practice, your attention to detail, and what you're trusting the process and the preparation of how you do things. We call it the power of preparation. And that's what you have to do. And you have to stay hungry. Listen, every team's coming to beat you. And every team in this league can beat you very easily. And you have to prove yourself each and every day. It's not about the scoreboard. It's about winning your space, putting your head down. I don't care about this. If I take care of my space and I take care of things on the field, the things on the scoreboard take care of themselves. And you have to stay true to those beliefs. You have to do it, and you have to do it over and over and over, and don't get bored doing it.
And a quick follow-up, did you see this coming for you guys against Florida?
Well, I thought we could play well. I thought we could. We had opportunities last week at Alabama. Had opportunities the first week. A lot of our wounds in the first two games have been self-inflicted offensively in some of the things we've done. And we've had those opportunities, and it's just a matter of pointing those out. The sky's not falling, and all of a sudden today, it's not the greatest thing ever. It's usually somewhere in between, and it's about how you approach each and every day and how you practice and create those habits and have the poise and composure to execute when you have to. And that's only going to happen when you can do it over and over and over in practice.
All right, we got time for one more question. We have more people on the queue, but Brent Zorman, finish us off.
Me off guard there with that. Coach, how nice is it to have a tight end who looks like he could also play basketball, say for Buzz Williams or something? And what were your first impressions of Weidermeyer when you recruited him out at Dickinson?
We really saw a big, long athlete. There was going to be a big guy, very fluid, great acceleration, ball skills, balance, body control, really good basketball player. Has really grown in the passing game. He's done a really good job and continuing to grow in the verticality he has with his size and length. But now he's really grown into an online blocker and a puller and doing a really good job blocking up front. And he's continuing to grow in that. We're going to be becoming a complete tight end because a lot of guys today become either the athlete or the blocker. And it's hard to get a guy that can do both and likes to do both. And he's learning to do that. And it's been a big cog for us, whether it's running. He was a huge part of our running game the other day. Then he caught those big, I think he had 3 third-down catches. He had 5 catches total, 3 of them on third down, happened to be this week. And, it's been excellent. So very proud of him. And as he continues to grow, he's got a chance to be a really, really good football player, in my opinion.
The very definition of an ender here, and I'm only asking you this because it's from our generation. Were you a Van Halen guy at all?
I knew Eddie Van Halen when I was growing up. Eddie Van Halen, you listen to Eddie Van Halen, yes.
I just wanted to get your reaction to his passing.
It's sad.
Hard for some of us.
Well, it makes you nervous. Like I said, I just turned 55 and he was 65. You're starting to get up there a little bit, and you don't realize how long ago that really was when you were listening to him and things. But it's sad because he was one of the true icons in the rock, in music business and in the Hall of Fame. And he was a great guy. And of course, I always knew him because I always remember listening to music. And he married Valley Burton Ellie. I remember that because she was on TV as an actress and all that stuff. But, it's a shame. It's a shame any of those guys have to go before their time, and everybody can't go in their old age. That's for sure. It's sad.
Happy belated birthday. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We're good, guys.
All right,
Thank
Coach,
you.
thank
Have
you.
a great day.